As we start to come to the end of summer, we start to evaluate what kind of pasture grasses do we have in on our stand right now at the end of the season. What do we hope to have maybe potentially coming up for this fall, so if we determine if we want to do any type of reseeding. So to understand that, we want to be able to evaluate our different grasses, because each grass that we have, some are a great asset to our pastures in the late summer, and some do not provide really any nutritional value. And if you have a pasture overwhelming with the amount of some of them that really take up too many nutrients and don't provide quality, you want to evaluate if you want to do some reseeding. So as we start to come along and evaluate this pasture, one of the first ones I see, and a very common grass, is what we call Dallas grass. You'll notice it by this very distinctive seed head type, and it looks kind of almost like a little caterpillar as you start to walk along there. This grass typically will have a very good amount of fodder or leaf at the bottom part of it. So when you clip off the seed head, you provide a lot of access to a lot of good fodder. This is typically a very good forage for a lot of our summer pastures, and be able to managing that is a great asset to the late summer grazing period. Another one that we'll look at is this red top grass. You'll notice it's kind of a very thin red top seed head. You look at the stem, it's very thin and a lot less fodder or leaf material as well. Not one of our better grasses, but very typical in late summer to see this grass. When I start to look at a pasture, I want to see some quality leaf materials. One of them that I really like looking at is I start to look down here, is one that has a Bermuda grass. So this Bermuda grass is a very low profile growing grass. It has rhizomes that kind of scoot and run along the surface, but it has a lot of low grazing, is very tolerant of drought, still provides some good grazing material, and be able to handle the drought and the heat that comes with summer. One of the grasses that I don't like seeing very often is what we call the sage grass. And we've talked about this in lots of different sections, but you'll have a plant that has very little leaf material, very stemmy, very little leaf material down here at the bottom. This is a great grass for causing disease and health problems in animals, and so one that we really don't want to encourage and don't like when we see a whole bunch of it. As we move over here a little bit, slightly, we see another late summer grass that is very difficult to control in Tennessee, but seems to pop up a lot, and this is what we call foxtail. Foxtail gets its name because it's a very distinctive foxtail that it has on their seed head. Very little grazing material down here as far as the grass, very small amounts. But what we see a lot of this is in our hay in the late summer. It's a bane kind of a lot of existence, especially of the equine owners, because it becomes a health issue for a lot of horses, and digesting this and getting sores in their mouth. So these are a couple of the grasses, especially the sage grass and the foxtail, that we don't like to see in many of our pastures.